Wherever Micah came from, he was getting loose and getting free, and he was bedeviling Tom Brady. Brady's looking for 11. You could just see him flinching. You could see him. And then back to the play in question. It's a horrible play because it's the turning point of the football game. Because just before that, on a 3rd and 4, Brady had actually made a fairly athletic play for a 45-year-old quarterback. If we could see the athletic play. Yeah, a little bit of Mahomes. I'm not going to go to Mahomes, but he does a little pump fake, and then he rolls, and then he flips. Just a little sort of a basketball, baseball flip out, and that set up what was about to happen because they have moved the football very well. What did they get to that point? They'd gone 70 yards in 14 plays, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, the GOAT's going to make this a game. And then that happened. And he admitted after the game he was trying to throw it away. Well, he flinches.
Right.
He ducks. It's not a throwaway, it's a duck away.
Right.
And instead of ducking with some emphasis on the football, he just doesn't get enough on it. And Jaron Curse is back there at 6 feet 4 inches, and he takes it away. What does my team do best on defense? They take away the football. Why does my team have a chance to win at San Francisco against Brock Purdy? Why does my team have a chance to go win, dare I say, the Super Bowl? They take the ball away.
You take the ball away in the playoffs, you got a great chance to win no matter where you play.
Great chance. And I thought the Godwin play, even though he was down, I thought that was another turnover. But this is the turnover because this is the cardinal sin of quarterbacking. And what would it have been for Brady? He had been, at that point, he'd gone 409 attempts in the red zone without throwing an interception.
Last one was in 2019, I think, in New England.
Okay, so he'd gone all 3 of his years at Tampa Bay with not committing a cardinal sin one time.
ESPN jinxed him, Skip. You know they put those stats on the board.
And they're talking about it, they're raving about it, and I'm like, uh-oh, it's the classic announcer's jinx from Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and he did that. And it wasn't like, oh, I made a bad choice. He just didn't get enough on the ball because he ducked, because he's 45 and he doesn't want to get hit in the mouth. And he had pass rushers in his face, and it's just a fall away that didn't have enough on it, and it's the football game because that's it. If you go 70 and 14 plays and you come away with 0, and it's 6-0 because
now you had an opportunity. As bad as you played up until that point, you had a chance to make it 7-6.
You would have been up 7-6. And then we go the other direction. And we go 80 yards in 15 plays. But all of a sudden, they try Zeke on 3rd down. And I got to tell you, as much as I love Zeke, it's just, I just don't see much left.
Skip,
there.
I just don't see. Skip,
I don't even get why they try it anymore.
Well, maybe it's me, Skip, but I'm not so sure he gets the same blocking as Pollard.
I just don't know because it's hard to watch. Because,
it is.
You know,
he's definitely a plow horse now.
He's a plow horse. He's more of a fullback than a halfback. So I'm looking for what did Zeke wind up with last night? He had 13 carries for 27 yards. That's 2.1 yards per attempt. I keep beating the table over here. I need to see more number 20. I need to see Tony Pollard. And we're going to get into this all week. But this is just me. I'm going to throw this out because I know this will set you off. I know it's going to be Christian McCaffrey against Tony Pollard. And they do a lot of the same things. I'll still take my man Tony Pollard because I think he's a touch faster than Christian is. As great as Christian is.
But I think Christian is a way better receiver because if you think about it, Skip, they line McCaffrey up in the slot they run him like he's an actual slot receiver.
Well, against the GOAT, when Brady went out there, he caught a downfield touchdown pass that was a wide receiver route.
Exactly.
I got it. Well, that's a close call, but I'll still take my guy because my guy is explosive. Okay, so what happens? We get down there and Zeke gets stuffed, and all of a sudden it's 4th and goal at the 1. And Troy Aikman says on television, man, I'm just going to take the 3 here. Well, little did we know, Brett the Fret has returned, as in Maher, and maybe you wouldn't want to take the 3, right?
Well, Skip, I talked about it. I said, Skip, you remember you used to call the man Brett the Fret. Oh, I got all the confidence in the world in him now. I said, oh, you were sure? You said you were sure about it. Are you still sure?
This year they've been calling him Money Maher. We're going to get to, we'll do a whole breakdown on him in just a moment.
Maher.
But maybe Maher is right. But the point was, he was 19 of 22 on field goals this year. And the weird thing about this game last night, there's no field goals attempted. None. It was all about the extra points. Fortunately, because the 3s can get you. The 1s you can sort of live with usually if you're.
They're just deflating to an offensive team, and we're going to talk about Dak showing frustration. He's like, make up.
Did he? Well, he said, let's go for 2. Okay. All right. So what they did was Mike McCarthy made one great call. He just immediately said, no, go.
Right.
And it's Kellen Moore's call, but it's Mike McCarthy's overview.
Yeah.
He's got to bless it.
Right.
And he said, go for it. And I give Mike McCarthy high marks. He stayed out of the way last night, but he had to make one choice. And this is game-changing right here.
Yes.
Let's go. And to Kellen Moore's credit, he calls a play that is virtually indefensible.
Yeah.
You're going to roll. You're going to go on the naked, go left.
Yep.
But it's a run-pass option, and Dak said after the game, I had it either way.
Yes.
I got Dalton, and that's what you're talking about. You could have flipped it to him for the 5th touchdown.
Dak said, I ain't gonna chance it.
Okay, and it's just wide open on the flank because nobody is home. Everybody's
selling out to stop the run. Skip.
Okay, so it was a sweet call. It was a shrewd move by Mike McCarthy, if I can even put shrewd in the same sentence with Mike McCarthy. And all of a sudden, you're up 12-0 because he misses, obviously, the extra point. So it's really, touchdowns last night were just worth 6 points, and that's it, period, end of story, and here we go. All right, so from that point forward, Dak puts on the show of his life because it was the game of his life on the stage of his life against a GOAT quarterback who was 7-0 lifetime against his Dallas Cowboys. Dak had won only one playoff game. In fact, last night, Tom Brady had won as many playoff games going into the game as my Cowboys had won in their lifetime. In their lifetime. 35-35. And all of a sudden, we got it.
They've been playing football a lot longer than
A lot longer, okay? So it was a show of shows by a quarterback who was under fire because at Washington, again, the game didn't count unless they were going to put some heat on Philadelphia.
Right.
He completed 38% of his passes. 38%. He went, or his offense went 4 of 18 on 3rd down. Are you kidding me? 4 of 18. And then, as CD said, we will flip the switch. Did they flip it last night? Let me just show, just for the scope of it, could we just see Dak's 5 touchdowns in a row? This is the show that Dak put on. And you know what? Again, he should have been able to do this because he had the time and the protection. That's the first one to Dalton Schultz. Here's the roll. Naked boot. Good play fake. Nobody home. And then this was really good. This is running the wrong way, throwing back to Dalton Schultz, who uncovered it the last second. It wasn't cut and dried. And then here we go again. This is a really good shot. Carlton Davis had his hands on it, and Gallup got back in bounds.
I tweeted that's a touchdown anyway, even though Gallup had gone out of bounds because Carlton Davis touched it first. You just can't be the first guy to touch the football after you go out of bounds.
Okay. So now you've got what's left of Tom Brady. And let's see what happened at the end of this game because, weirdly, it got a little bit dicey, believe it or not. Okay, so he finally makes a throw to Julio. And it did my heart good because I wanted Julio to have a big sort of last hurrah kind of year in Tampa with Tom Brady because Brady recruited him on IG.
Yes.
And he was hurt all year. So here's the throw to Julio for 30 yards. And
this, a touchdown.
Yeah, this is the first one we said, well, okay. Okay, so you got that. So it's a good throw and a very good catch by a guy who had been missing in action. He'd just been hurt all year. Okay, so then they go for 2. And by the way, I had an emerging new corner last night. I don't know if you noticed, but Israel Mukwama out of South Carolina. Remember, he started opposite J.C. Horn at South Carolina. He was a 6th-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys. He's 6 feet 4 inches tall. He had Godwin all night long. I'm going to assume they're going to have to use him some on Debo because he's bigger and more physical. And he got physical with a very physical Chris Godwin, except in the end zone. He held him in the end zone on the 2-point try.
That was no physical. He was holding.
Yeah, he just held him, and Brady's grabbing his arm like it's holding.
That's hold.
Okay, so he grabbed him, and he
because he's looking at the backfield because he's trying to do both. He's trying to play the quarterback and hold him.
And he held on, and Brady tries to float it out.
But Skip, the back judge is standing right there. What is the back judge looking at?
I don't know how you missed it.
There he goes right there, bro. That's you.
I don't know.
You did this. You should have been calling holding.
Okay, so the point was, if you give him those 2 points, all of a sudden it's 24-8. And then they go score, he hits Cameron Brate, and then they go for 2 and make it. So that could have made it 16. And then Brady throws one late at the 2-minute warning to Mike Evans.